Third one is the void. Void. Void when we use actually in a C or a Java, a method or a function does not return any value, then we earmark it as void type. We define its type as void. It indicates that it does not return any value. Okay. So, main does not return any value. It takes arguments if it is required, that is also optional. 0 or more string arguments it takes, but it does not return anything. One thing you must remember, main returns interpreter exit, that is why main should be qualified with the void, its return type is void. That means you must understand that main does not return any value. So, the three qualifiers you must use with the main, you do not have any choice, it is mandatory. In this manner you must understand and proceed. This knowledge is very essential because this question may be asked in examinations, or in order to know your basic knowledge in interviews, in most interviews they ask you, because the first statement when you write a Java program, you must write a program using this main. So, that is why you must have a clear understanding over this. And next one, Java compilation. Java compilation, which tool we use? Javac tool we use. For that purpose, what we have to provide? We have to provide the source file. Source file, what is the convention, what is the rule? The extension should be Java. Suppose in this example, room.java. So, this represents the source file. This may consist of one or more classes, that is a different thing. This is a source file, always you must write .java. Next, as after successful compilation of the source file, what happens? One bytecode file is created, the corresponding bytecode file is created. The bytecode is not the executable code, it is an intermediate code strategically to acquire the privilege of write once, run anywhere, privilege, and Java created this bytecode strategy, that is an intermediate code is created, that is called bytecode. For that purpose, dot class file is created. Once it is successfully compiled and one bytecode file is created, and obviously its name is room.class. Okay. So, this is bytecode file, and one more process should be done, then only it will become executable file, then only CPU will execute the instructions given in the program. And here at the time of interpretation, for what is the interpreter? That is Java. Actually, it does not take class, it does not take a file, it takes a class, it takes the class. So, what we have to do here, we have what type of code, what code we write? Java room only you have to write, you should not write dot class. Dot class if you write, it becomes a file, but we have to provide a class. That is why for Java we provide a class, that is why you should not write dot class. That point always you remember. Actually, your class file is created in the current directory. Okay. Java the interpreter directly access it, but if it is created elsewhere and all that, you must provide the class path. Class path in the forthcoming chapters we discuss in detail, but time being, one example I have given. You are residing in flat number 110, then you define a class path, your path. What is the path? If you are not available in your flat, you may be available in flat number 215. If you are not available there also, you may be available in 312. Understand? So, first you whether you are not there or not, you checked in 110. Thereafter, if you are not available there, the person goes to 215, flat number 215. There also, if you are not available, 312, 312. There also you are not available, the person who wants to visit you and all that, exit. In the same manner, if you provide the path, actually interpreter first search the current directory for the class, and that is not available and all that, you explicitly provide a class path, and in the class path it checks and ultimately find out, locate the class, and it performs its job of interpretation. That point you have to understand. Thereafter, jar files. Actually, we have to provide all auxiliary classes for the sake of interpretation. So, in such case, jar is one tool. This is Java archive, simply called a jar file. Actually, all these auxiliary files are required for the sake of interpretation. All Java auxiliary classes required for the sake of interpretation are bundled as a single file, that is called jar file, and it is provided at the time of interpretation. It is provided to the interpreter, then execution is performed, interpretation is done, and executable code is created. So, regarding jar files, at the last topic of this chapter, I will explain it in detail. So, these points you must, whatever understanding you have as of now, I do not know. That is why if any lapses are there, then you just rectify that. This is the final version, and this knowledge one must have, because in this context one very important point I should tell you. If you miss some advanced things also, it is okay, but you should not be ignorant of basic elements. In mainly in interviews and all that, if you fail to answer the questions on basics, the interviewer is not interested to ask you advanced questions, because if you do not know basics, what he can expect from you. That is why they are not inclined to ask you advanced questions. That is why do not miss the basic concepts, especially in Java. One intricacy is there. Once in the first time if you study, then you can understand elements in certain fashion. If you continue or study deeply, then your perspective, your view will be changed. You grasp the things in different manner. Ultimately, at one stage you get perfection. You can understand the truth. That means you can understand the real features and functionalities of that element. That is why this is the stage. Here in this chapter, mainly you have to understand all the basic elements in the real manner, and the truth behind them, and you must own them.